Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, I am the founder and editor-in-chief. This evening is Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. This is episode 464 of The Daily Dope. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. I am your host. So if this is the first time you've tuned in, do want to point out this is just a very, very casual show. Mainly, I share tabletop gaming news, which I am not doing currently because of what's going on in the world around us. And unfortunately, tabletop gaming industry is kind of screeching to a halt right now. Talk about that in just a moment. So instead, I'm kind of doing some unboxings, doing some reviews. I've done some playthroughs as well, just to kind of blow off steam, kick back, and enjoy people's company in chat. So hopefully we'll have people in chat. But do want to point out, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, because if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell. It will not only notify you when the Daily Dope streams live, Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, it'll also inform you when I upload standalone videos as well, such as my unboxings and first looks and page throughs and reviews and interviews and convention coverage. Oh, I don't think we're going to see conventions this year. Regardless, be sure to hop on over and ring that bell. I'm kind of surprised. Only about 13% of the subscribers have actually rung that little notification bell. Do want to also mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. That is where I am still posting gaming news that comes out. It is still going up on the Gaming Gang website. And some days I've got a few pieces. Some days I only have maybe one. Today I had four or five news pieces. Also, because this is a live stream, chat is available on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. And speaking of chat, we've got the Madman. We've got Dan from No Enemies here, and Sportsman Z is joining us live tonight as well. So welcome aboard, everybody. We'll get down to brass tacks in a moment, because we are going to unbox and take a first look at The Longest Trench from UGG. This looks kind of interesting. We will kind of dig into that in just a few moments. Did have a couple of things I wanted to talk about real quickly. If you watched last night's show, I talked a little bit about how Alliance Game Distributors had informed the vendors, which basically means they had informed the publishers, that they would not be getting checks as far as their sales, because Alliance, and thus I am 99.9% positive, Diamond Comic Distributors, who they're all the same company really, I believe they're doing the same thing. So that is not good news. And I noticed today, I did not read the article, but I did notice today that ICV2, which is kind of a comic book, they do some gaming stuff. Their gaming stuff is kind of, I don't know. The website's fine. I'm just saying their gaming news is just kind of whatever gets sent their way. And it's a lot of like whiz kids all the time, and a lot of companies don't get any coverage by them, but they did have an article talking about how it is bad news. It's bad news for smaller comic companies as well as tabletop gaming companies, because that check that's supposed to come to them is like for a full quarter worth of sales. But Alliance and Diamond are saying they can't pay because the retailers aren't paying them. So we shall see. But pretty crazy as well. So yes, Sportsman Z points out the date is showing up in the corner tonight. That's right, yes. Because last night I'm like, hey, it's April 1st. And I'm like, where did maybe somebody was pulling a prank on me. Because I know I did not delete my little date window up here. Strange. Anyway, other thing that I do want to point out too is I honestly don't think we're going to see really any conventions this year. I just don't see it. Not with what's going on in the world right now. Late July, like right at the end of July is Gen Con. June is Origins, as well as I believe the WBC is right around then. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan from No Enemies Here, because he's always asking if I'm going to it. But I never can, because it's always going out right about the same exact time as Origins is in Columbus. Don't see that happening. San Diego Comic-Con, that's towards the end of July. That's why it's crazy. I would get back from Comic-Con, be home for like 2 days, and then have to go to Indianapolis for Gen Con, which I love Gen Con. It's my favorite. It is my favorite. So, No Enemies Here. Dan says, it's over. It's over. Forever. Love that movie. Sandlot. The Sandlot. Yeah, it is The Sandlot. So, Glenn Deeran's popping in from Florida. Good to see you. So, breaking up the monotony, I try. Doing my best. Doing my best to kind of keep you entertained for, I don't know, a few minutes Monday through Thursday nights. You can sit there and be like, hey, life isn't so bad. And then turn the computer off and be like, wow, this is... Viper Dave's here too, so cool deal. Anyway, as I mentioned, tonight I am going to dive in and take a first look at The Longest Trench, which is from Udo, I believe it's Grebe Game Design. Udo Grebe Game Design, I think. So I always say it's UGG, just like on the box. This is a World War I card game designed by Arno, Maesen, and Frédéric Moyersoen. The game is for 2 to 4 players. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be a 2-player game. It's for ages 14 and up. Plays in around 30 minutes to 2 hours. I'm taking a guess it's probably based on the player count. And it will carry an MSRP in the vicinity of about $22. At least that's with the exchange rate. When this is arriving, I am not positive. You can pre-order it from the UGG websites, which I have the web address right there for you. A lot of times, these UGG games are also released through our friends over at GMT Games as well. So, let's swing on over to the other camera, because look at what I got sitting right there. Ta-da! I keep continuing to work on the lighting a little bit. So, past few days, it seems like the overhead camera was a little bit dark. Hopefully, it's not too bright. And I do try my best to make sure that I do have the exposure locked in, because there's nothing worse than watching a video and seeing somebody hand moves off the screen and all of a sudden it's lighter, it's darker, it's lighter, it's darker, it's lighter, it's darker. Because I was doing that. So before I figured out how to lock in the exposure. So I do like the box art on the cover. I think this is kind of cool. But I did mention the GMT connection because they use almost the exact same layout as far as their game information, as far as number of players and so on and so forth. So it tells us the longest trench recreates World War I in a series of historical land and sea battles. The Central Powers, Germany and its allies, are in opposition to the Allies, Great Britain, France, and their allies. Wouldn't it be the Great, and how do you pronounce it? Entente? Something like that? They wouldn't be called the Allies. I don't know. Okay. As Supreme Commander, you try to defeat your opponent by allocating your troops, planes, and ships with the right support on the right front and at the right moment. The longest trench is about making tough decisions. There's so much that needs to be done, but your resources in form of cards are limited. Is it a wise decision to give all you can to win the battle at hand? Or is it better to save important cards to win those battles, which gain the winner of a battle the most victory points? You are in command. You decide what to do. It is showing that this is a complexity level 1, so this is supposed to be very, very easy to jump into. Ages 14 and up, I'm taking a guess. Maybe that's simply because it's a war game. I know there's dice in the box because I can hear them like jingling around when I move the box. Also, solitaire suitability is a 1, so that is something to keep in mind. Those gamers out there who enjoy the solitaire gameplay. So, do want to point out the artwork is provided by Karsten Schulman. So we've got that. Make sure we give some credit out there as well. Let's open this puppy up. See what we got inside. So we've got a couple of decks of cards. We've got six-sided dice. Glenn Darren says, I like the compact size. Reminds me of the VPG States of Siege box games. Yeah, that's right. That's about the size of them as well. So it looks like we got a couple of wooden pieces here. Red and yellow. Looks like we've got kind of a board. Yeah, we do. We've got a board here. Let's see what this is. It's on one side. All right, so we'll put that to the side. We'll put the cards to the side. Let's take a first look at the rule book here. Jump on in, get this out of the way. Grab a quick sip here. All right, so we got the rules of play here. Just a few pages. So we're showing the game idea, your objective, gain the most victory points or achieve a total victory before the end of the game. Got card descriptions. So we have allied player and central player. We have 4 types of cards. We have armies, fleets, support, and special. So these rules say the Longest Trench Kickstarter preview version. So strangely enough, you can pre-order this on the website right now. There is nothing on Kickstarter. I'm not positive if this is going to Kickstarter or if this is going to be out there as a game itself. Just, you know, that you can pre-order, because I did see on the UGG site you can pre-order the game. So that's normally not the case if you're sitting there and Pinky, yes, you might be able to hear her. Pinky has come downstairs again. God forbid we try to do a show without Pinky's arrival. Now it sounds like she's quieting down. But I'm not positive if this is a Kickstarter or not. So I'm sure I will find out after the fact. I will be reviewing this as well. So this is simply a bit of a first look. We're just kind of doing the unboxing here. So we're going to set up, talking about the game board. It's a victory point track and battle track. So there are 20 battles that are performed in chronological order. We got info about game flow, game sequence, preparation. Move into the combat section here. So let me just double check, making sure that everything is nicely in focus. So we've got support cards, artillery dice, So is that what the dice represent? Artillery? Could be. Could represent artillery support. So we've got sea battle. I like the fact that we're getting some sea battles in this as well. For one, there aren't tons of World War I games out there on the market. And for the most part, they're mainly land battles. Although there are, of course, naval games out there. Because, of course, you've got the famous Battle of Jutland. Usually we would play our Fletcher Pratt. Yes, I know, going off on a tangent. But with our Fletcher Pratt naval war game, it's always World War I stuff. Or it's either World War I or early, like, 1920s ships that we usually utilize. We got a 3 or 4 player variant as well. A historical variant. We got some designer notes from both Arno as well as Frédéric. So all in all, we'll be looking at 12 pages of rules, but we've got loads and loads of illustrations as well. Flaming Huron has arrived in chat. Good to see you, Flaming Huron. Next, let's take a peek at, let's take a look at this game board. See what we got here. So we've got the top area here. So we've got total victory, major victory, small victory, a draw. So taking a guess, we're moving back and forth. Kind of a little bit of a seesaw sort of tug of war is what I'm taking a guess here. So it's looking like the closer to victory you get, the more cards you'll get in your hand. So we've got the invasion of Belgium, Tannenberg, which is actually the subject of the latest game coming out from my pal Herman Lutman. That is, I believe it's shipping now from Flying Pig Games. Oh, I'm sorry, I should say Tiny Battle Publishing. It is the second box game. So I say it's called Steamroller, if I remember correctly. That's kind of funny. We got the Marne, Race for the Sea, Dodgers Bank. I should say Doggers Bank, Gallipoli. So we've got 1914, 1915, 1916, 1917, and of course down at the bottom we've got 1918. So I'm going to take a guess that one of these is utilized. One of these markers is utilized as far as moving this back and forth. The other marker is probably here to mark what battle you are in the midst of. So we've got the 2 naval battles. All right, cool. That looks pretty cool. And this is a paper mat, paper board, I should say, but pretty good quality cardstock that it's made from. So that should hold up a bit. Although I got to admit, it's split right there. Huh. I don't like that. Well, what can you do? All right, so we've got that. Put these back in there as well. Now we've got a couple of decks of cards. So obviously, one is going to be the Allies, as well as the other is the Central Power. Central Powers, plural. All right, let's cut these open, and I will zoom in. We'll get a better look at this as well. So Flaming Heron says, quite simplistic game board. I think the board is just there for you to track what battle you're in the midst of, because there are 20 battles on that, it seems, and probably to kind of track how the war is kind of swinging. Is it a stalemate? Is it kind of swinging one way or the other? But as far as the actual gameplay itself, I believe it's all going to have to do with these decks of cards. So we've got some summary cards right here. 2 sides. So we've got, same thing on each side. That's what it looks like. All right, let's zoom back in though. Let's kind of zoom on in. Get a better look at these. There we go. And just give it a little touch. Make sure that we're nice and focused. So it appears, should have these broken up into 2 decks. See what we've got here. I'm looking at this right here. All right, come on. Seriously? I don't think they're both marked with the same thing. No, there we go. I was going to say, what the heck? All right, let's take a look. Let's just kind of flip through these real quick. So we've got army cards. So we got Russian infantry. Got a few cards of Russian infantry. Italian infantry. Belgians. The French. British. And we got a little bit of Blackjack Pershing's American army there. We got some Anzacs. We've got Canadian infantry as well. So these are all army cards here. Now we got some special cards. So kind of surprised we're not getting a little bit of like flavor text on the cards. That would be nice, right? This baton. So we've got these are just fleet cards. So 1 through 5. There's some support cards, bayonets, tanks, mortars, barbed wire, grenades, machine guns, smoke, and trenches. A few of those cards there. So those are the support cards. Got another special card. Headquartered plans. Henry Rawlinson. Women at work. Image missing in action. I have to laugh seeing that. So this is definitely a preview copy. I can tell you that right now. I am not positive if and when this is going on to Kickstarter. So we've got Blockade. Lawrence of Arabia. All right. L.T.E. Lawrence. Joseph Papa Joffe. Yeah, we got some bonus cards here. So we've got Colonial Infantry, the British Expeditionary Forces, Recon Flight, Railway Transportation, and War in Serbia. So these are the cards for the Allies. So Glenn says, hey, you could probably laminate the board if that's your thing. Yeah, you could. I know a lot of people like to pop down a piece of plexiglass on top of their boards. That's why, unfortunately, and I will pull this back out here, this kind of cardstock tends to do that. It tends to kind of split a little bit. And I get it. I completely understand. It's like, well, we don't want to put a paper board in here because people complain, geez, it's a paper board. But the reality is the paperboard probably holds up a little bit longer than, because you can see the split right here. Keeping in mind, this is a preview. So it is very possible that that could be a mounted board in the finished product. Let's see what we've got here as far as the central powers. We got the Ottoman infantry, German infantry, with images missing in action. The Austro-Hungarian infantry. Got German infantry here. They have images. So as we can see, it looks like these cards have a strength of anywhere from 1 to 5. So I'm not sure what the obviously this is depending on the year, but I'm not sure what these colored blocks are. Some are empty, some are blank, some have little items, little colored squares in them. So kind of interesting. Kaiser Wilhelm, all von Hindenburg, all humanity. All right, so smoke and trenches, same kind of support, grenades, machine guns. Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron. So headquarter plans, we got our fleet cards. So as you can see, were those all the fleet? Yeah. So we have 2, 3, and a couple of 4s. Where I thought, I could always take another peek, but I thought in the other deck we were seeing kind of like a 1 through 5 on the fleets here for the allies. So more support cards here. The Russian Revolution. So it's basically, it says draw 2 cards. The allied player may no longer play Russian armies. Keep this card face up as a reminder. I'm wondering if this is just basically trying to tell you when you can play this card. Kind of curious. So it's like you can't play it before 1917. Possibility. So we had Fatigue of War, Submarine Warfare, War in East Africa, Franz Joseph, Matahari. Oh, okay. And then we've got Bulgarian, Alpenkaw, Landstrom, Recon Flight, Railway Transportation, Fog of War, and then we get a couple more Ottoman Army cards. Didn't we start off with Ottoman? Yeah, thought so. We did. So we've got the 2 decks of cards. So what we find in the game, we have our 2 little markers right there. We've got our game board. We have 2 decks of cards, as well as 4 player aid cards, 6 six-sided dice, a rule book with about 12 pages of rules, I think. Wasn't that what we ended up with? So let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. And that's what we find when we take everything from The Longest Trench, famous battles of World War I, outside the box, and take a closer look. This could be kind of interesting. All depends. I'm kind of curious. Now, I did notice, and I did point that out, that the complexity rating of it is a 1. So it is certainly made as an introductory game. And I am taking a stab in the dark that we've got like the numbers, the various numbers. You're just going to add them up on each battlefront or something like that. But gotta point out, Frédéric Moyersoen, he designs pretty good games. So I don't think this is going to be like some really super simplistic game. But I will have a review in the very near future. All right, so that is it for tonight's show, pretty much. Kind of short show. But before we wrap up, do you want to point out we're still working on kind of ironing some things out for the Call of Cthulhu stream that Elliot Miller, my best friend, is going to join us for. And we should have my nephew Cameron, as well as his girlfriend Lexi, who you probably remember them. You've seen Cameron before doing stuff with the Gaming Gang. But Lexi was part of the charity event we did back in November. So she was part of the Atomic Age Cthulhu adventure that I ran. But we are ironing some stuff out, and I was working with Elliot on a really kind of interesting character for him. And I floated the idea out to him. I'm not going to ruin it and, ruin the surprise for those of you who may end up watching it. But it's going to be kind of cool, kind of fun, kind of interesting. So, and it was my idea. I floated it out to him, and he's like, oh my God, I love that. So anyway, hopefully we're going to start getting that going. Fingers crossed we can at least get our characters rolled up over the weekend. I don't know if there's going to be like an episode 0 though, because I don't think I can get all 3 of the players together at the same exact time to kind of video, kind of record, I should say. I say videotape. So I could record the episode 0 as we roll characters up, because Elliot's character is going to kind of be a surprise to the other players. So Anyway, so it's going to be kind of I'm up in the air. I don't know if we're going to use Discord for the video or if we're going to use Roll20 for the video. I have absolutely no knowledge on Discord. So once again, that'd be something else that I have to completely learn. So, all right, that is it. So everybody very welcome. Thank you for thanking me for the show. To be honest, we should all be thanking the folks on the front lines trying to keep us safe, trying to keep everybody healthy, trying to save lives right now. I really, really appreciate what those people are doing because they're putting their lives on the line for friends and family and strangers and things like that. So they're crazy times. That's why we're trying to blow off a little steam, trying to relax for a little bit, take a little break, take a mental break from the daily dose of horrors that we see. Anyway, so Glenn Darren says, yeah, looking forward to some Call of Cthulhu. Excellent. All right, so for those of you out there who were watching live, thank you very much for joining me once again. Always appreciate when you keep me company so I don't look like a complete doofus just speaking out into the ether at nothing. But if you watch after the fact, because I know a lot of people can't watch right now, I love you folks too. I really do appreciate it. So of course, if you'll like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Fight the trolls out there. Subscribe to the channel if you do. Don't forget, ring that little bell because it will not only notify you when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights, it'll also tell you when my standalone videos get uploaded, which will include, that's what I forgot to tell everybody, the review for The Crew will be up this weekend. My first look at Tiny Towns, actually probably going to be a review. It'll probably hit about Sunday, just because I'll feel silly doing an unboxing for something that'd take about 10 minutes. So those will be up this weekend. On Monday's show, because remember, no shows on Fridays, I will be unboxing and taking a first look at these two really cool looking tile sets for RPGs and of course miniatures as well. We've got Dungeon Craft Volume 1 and we've got, Dungeon Craft Volume 1 and Hell and High Water. So, and these are pretty hefty too, so pretty cool, pretty nice. Okay, so anywho, don't forget, be sure to subscribe and you will know when the stream goes live as well as when I upload videos. Plus, don't forget, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, visit thegaminggang.com. You really will find a lot of the news, a lot of things that are going on right now as far as what games are available. Got a lot of RPG news, which is thankful. Thankfully, we got some RPG news that we can share as well. But be sure to visit thegaminggang.com. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Have a very, very safe weekend. Keep that social distancing going, folks. It's going to help us in the end. And if we don't, things will become very dire. So as I like to continually say, everybody be smart, stay safe, have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.